Okay, I'm the first one to admit I have been hesitant about shimmers. I've been hesitant about all the mists because I was afraid they were going to warp paper. And now I don't mind if they warp paper because, quite frankly, I like it when my paper's a little warped. I like it when everything's a little warped. That sounded bad. So last night, with inspiration from a beautiful layout I saw at the Product Performers booth while we were at CHA in Anaheim a week ago, I created a layout that I'm really happy with. And I used shimmers practically everywhere. So the idea was to take the three colors of shimmers that Jenny lent us. Jenny Boisvert, you know, she's on the shimmerz design team. Anyway, she lent us three colors, and I took them and created some elements for my layout with them. And I want to show you a couple of things I did. So first things first, the first thing I did was I found a cruddy old piece of cardboard. And this was just the flap off a cardboard box. I tore the top layer off of the cardboard and then tore the piece into what appears to be a tree trunk. That was pretty cool, but it's not enough. So you can see I've chalked the edges on this and really kind of distressed it, but that's not nearly enough. So I got the brown, it's called Penny Pincher Vibez. And I'm just gonna swirl it up. I know y'all know this, it's new to me, this swirly stuff, but it works. And then I'm just gonna coat this piece. And what I found was the more the better. Now it's wet, so you're seeing the wet. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of this Hermit the Frog and I'm gonna add just a titch of green in, which looks like a lot right now, but I promise you, as it dries and as it gets all schleppy together, it won't look like that. The tree trunk's dry now, and I just wanted you to see how beautifully all those colors blended together. The inks, the shimmers, everything blended together. The greens and the browns just blended beautifully and created a really pretty tree trunk. The next step in our project is to make the little flowers that become the tree itself. And for that, I cut some scallop circles. I used my Cricut to do this. You could have a punch or one of the other electronic cutters, I'm certain, has a scallop circle. These are, the large ones are 2.5 inches, the small ones are 2 inches. I used the Mini Monograms cartridge for this. I also stamped these using a Tim Holtz swirl that I think I've about worn out. I love it and I use it all the time. And I just used a really good instant dry pigment ink by VersaFine. Really love it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these little rounds into flowers. And for me, the first step is, as always, I'm going to chalk my edges. This is not to be perfect. You want to chalk and make it very imperfect. It's just another little detail that brings out a little something extra in your flowers. Gives them a little more dimension. So chalk your flowers all the way around, and I did mine front and back because as you form these into flowers, you are going to see the back side of these. And so, although it doesn't have to be as beautiful as the front, it still needs to look really nice. So, as you can see, all of my rounds are now chalked, and it's time for me to make them pretty. So, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the Razzleberry Shimmers. This is the Vibez. The colors are intense and beautiful in this. And then I'm going to use the Sunset Strip Shimmers. And you can see this shimmer in the bottom. And what I was taught to do was to roll it between my hands, and it forms kind of a tornado in the bottle and will bring all of that up. You can also kind of gently gently shake it, but you don't want a lot of bubbles in your bottle. So I'm going to take 1 large and 2 small rounds, and I am just going to coat them really well with this beautiful raspberry color. And you just have to see the intensity of this beautiful color. And I hope you saw that they kind of pulled up and now they're flattening back out, because that is exactly what's supposed to happen with these. Now, if I want the same color on both sides, all I have to do is flip this over and then rub it around, and the back side's gonna pick up all of this extra color that was on my mat. I'm using the silicone mat by Ranger. I love this little mat and I work on it all the time. It is one of my very favorite tools. On the second set of 3 circles, I'm going to put my raspberry away, and I am going to get the sunset strip. And again, I'm just going to really form a little tsunami inside that bottle, and then I am going to really cover these rounds heavily with this beautiful orangey color. Just love that. So pretty, so pretty. I'm going to put my lid back on and set it aside. Again, if I want them to be the orangey color on both sides, I can pick it up just like that and just transfer it, set it aside to dry. Again, picking up that beautiful orange. Step is really easy. We're just going to make our flowers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it in the middle, and I'm going to form a little cup. So easy, I can't begin to tell you. Take a little teeny clip, and I'm going to clip it right there, and I'm just going to set it aside to dry. And you'll do that with every flower, large and small. You're going to let your flowers dry now, and when they're dry, you're going to layer them up. And I'm going to show you with some that I pre-made before I started this. Okay. Your finished flower is going to look like this. And you can, I don't know if you can see that beautiful shimmer, but I certainly can from where I'm sitting. The way you do this is one of the large rounds that I've crumpled and pinched in the center. And I need a small one, and we're going to use, oh, that one's a little too green, I think, for me. Do I have a pink one? Gosh, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. I have a kind of a whitish one. And so I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to glue it right inside the large one, like that. Now, what I noticed right off the top was that at no time did I chalk the edges on that, so I'm going to go back and chalk the edges and just give it a little bit of that brown on the edges. Okay, so I'm going to take this large one, and I'm going to open it up just a little bit, and I'm going to glue this in. For this, I'm going to use Zip Dry. Zip Dry is my favorite adhesive. I love it. It's archivally safe rubber cement. It works beautifully. It dries quickly. So I'm just going to put a bead of Zip Dry in the center. I am going to tuck that inside and pinch. Hold it for just a couple of seconds and set it down. Back to where I started with the layout that I created and the product that inspired it. I want to thank Stacy and Jenny for giving me the product to try and to play with. I absolutely love the vibez. I think they rock.